Hey there, this is Mark Friedman from Tulip. I'm the Lean Practice Lead, and I wanted to share with you an example application that you could use for total productive maintenance, or TPM, or in some cases, preventative maintenance. So it's very typical in a manufacturing setting that you have a number of assets, and these assets, maybe they're machines or equipment or something of this nature, and maybe it's gauges that you like inspection equipment. And what you'd like to do is you'd like to, on some frequency, perform some sort of routine check or operation. And this is something that, it can be sometimes difficult to manage and take care of all the different requirements and procedures that different devices and equipment may have. So I want to show you an example of how you might be able to manage that in Tulip. So I have this example application here, and there's a few different screens. I'll show you what they are, but basically you're able to manage your asset requirements. So here's an example where you could actually create an asset and then set up requirements. And then later on, you could go ahead and perform procedures or create procedures for those equipment and things like that. So let me pause real quick and grab some images. Okay, so let's pretend like we actually want to set up some measurement equipment here. And we're going to actually call this a micrometer. Let's call this a micrometer 1, and it's going to be in our assembly 2 area. And we don't have an assembly asset type like this, so let's call this micrometer type. And then this is not a single-use asset. We're not going to take this away and throw it away like some things, like maybe epoxy could be this way, or some sort of fixture that is destroyed. But in this case, this is going to undergo recurring maintenance. And let's look at procedures here. Let's add a procedure which is calibration. And then we'll do this every 30 days, let's say. So I'm going to choose an image here. The image is going to be this, this micrometer image. Submit it. And then now I have added an asset called a micrometer. Let's also add a machine. So I'll just load up a machine real quick. Let's make this machine Sugami 2. And let's give this a change. Let's give this a check spindle operation, and let's do this every 15 days maybe. So Sugami 2 is going to have a check spindle operation on it, and that's what we're going to have to do with this thing every 15 days. So I've just added a few different assets here and sort of frequencies of things that we want to do to them. And then let's manage now the procedures. So let's say for the calibration for the micrometer, let's select this procedure, and let's just say calibrate against gauge, against block. So we'll add this operation here. And maybe we want to do something else too, which is like update label after you've done that. And maybe we want to update the label before, we want to move it up or move it down, but let's say we want to give some instruction to calibrate gauge block. Which gauge block do I use? This sort of thing. So what we'll do is we'll choose this sequence, and then we'll add an image here. So the image we'll choose is this calibrate micrometer image. And we'll say use 0.500 inch gauge block to verify measurement. Okay, so that's how we'll do that. And now we've basically set that. Let's also select, for our Sugami, we created this check spindle procedure, and I don't have anything in here. So for the spindle, let's also add, let's say, a few steps, which is like open machine cover, and then we'd like to check alignment, let's say. All right, so these are the sequences we're going to do there. So for open machine cover, what we're going to do here is I actually have some fake images here. Let's say Sugami 1. We will use this and open cover. So I'll save that. I'll save this. And then for check alignment, let's say we want to pick an image here, which is this image here of some sort of alignment of use measurement device to check alignment. So this is how you can just create procedures very quickly that are assigned to your assets. And now what we'll do is, let's pretend we're a maintenance person. So maintenance person here has all these different activities that are due at certain times, sorted by due date. So here's the calibration of the micrometer. So let's just say that this person, it's time for this group, and you could sort this by different groups and this sort of thing. But let's just say we want the calibration of the micrometer to occur. Well, the person would click on here. It would show them what to do. They could switch between steps. Now we didn't put any information in the update label, but they could go ahead and perform this operation, and then it would update its frequency here. Similarly, with the check spindle on the Sugami, looks like that's due somewhat recently. Let's click on this, and here we go. So we can just go over here and review what the procedure is, then perform the procedure, and it's going to update the time when that's due. So that's just a quick way of using Tulip to go ahead and create procedures and manage assets. And then there's also examples where you want to take out, let's say, epoxy. That was a single-use option. This epoxy, every 45 minutes, we're going to have to throw this epoxy out. So maybe we want to assign this serial number to a location, and what we want to have happen is we want this to send off some sort of alarm when it's a time for this epoxy to be destroyed, or alert some sort of line leader or personnel to say, hey, you know what, you're using a piece of an asset that's actually expired at this point. So I hope this is helpful to see how you can use Tulip to manage your assets for total productive maintenance. Thanks.